Guys, I have some pretty bad news. If you're a fan of an NFL team not named the Kansas City Chiefs, then you might as well not even bother showing up to the 2024 season. Because as it stands right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to become the first team ever to go back to back to back and win 3 championships in a row. And honestly, could go undefeated. Because look at this fucking schedule. Look at this schedule. There's a max of like 4 games on here that are actually hard. The Ravens could be hard, but the Ravens lost Patrick Queen. The Ravens are losing everybody on that team. The Bengals, they do get Joe Burrow back. How healthy will Burrow be? The Falcons, who's starting at quarterback? The Chargers, it's the first. Okay, the one thing with the Chargers is rookie head coach, not rookie head coach, but he hasn't been in the league for like 10 years, so he basically is a rookie head coach. The league is completely different. We don't know how they're going to play. Saints, easy game. Bye week. Niners, hard. Raiders, easy. Bucks, easy. Broncos, easy. Bills is going to be easy. The Bills lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Tre'Davious White. They lost Jordan Poyer. They lost half of their good players in one offseason without replacing them with anybody meaningful. The Panthers are easy. The Raiders are easy. The Chargers, the second time around, might be difficult. The Browns, honestly, Deshaun Watson might have a career suspension by the time week 15 rolls around. The Texans, probably a little bit difficult. The Steelers easy and the Broncos easy again. This schedule, easily, they could go 13-4. Undoubtedly, they could go 13-4. How does the NFL let the Super Bowl champions have such an easy schedule? Now, I know what you're going to say. The Chiefs' strength of schedule has them as the 16th easiest or 16th hardest in the NFL, smack in the middle. And my rebuttal to that is strength of schedule is the dumbest, stupidest thing in the world. If you don't know, strength of schedule basically averages the win percentage of the teams you're playing this season using their records from last season without taking into account any players they added or lost. So, the Bills last year went 11-6 and won the division. Good record. The Ravens were the first seed in the AFC. Good record. The Texans did really well. The Bucks did well. All those teams I mentioned, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Texans, easily could have worse records this year than they did last year, especially the Ravens and the Bills, because they both lost some key contributors to those teams. So strength of schedule really doesn't matter. And if you're still going to sit here and argue that it does, let me tell you this. The Dolphins entering last season had the second or third or first, one of the top 3 hardest schedules according to strength of schedule. By the end of the year, they had one of the 3 easiest schedules according to strength of schedule. Obviously, strength of schedule doesn't fucking matter if it changes so easily. The NFL fucked up. The Kansas City Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls in a row without having the same offense as before. I mean, when you think of the Kansas City Chiefs, what do you think of? Offense. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, even back in the day, Dante Hall, Tony Gonzalez. You always think of offense. A high-flying offense that's able to go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the league. The offense that we all saw come back and beat the Niners in the Super Bowl in 2020. The offense that took the league by storm and was on track to win the Super Bowl in every season that they played together. But sadly, as we all know, this trio didn't last long, as Tyreek was traded to Miami after he and the Chiefs couldn't come to a contract extension agreement. So in the last 2 seasons without Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs' offense undoubtedly got worse. I mean, they were starting Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson, and this year they were starting Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Kadarius Toney. Of course, they still have Travis Kelce, but when Travis Kelce is hurt or playing poorly, there's no one else for Mahomes to throw the ball to. When he did try, we saw it in the Lions game in week 1, Kadarius Toney dropped the ball and just juggled it straight into the defense, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling just dropping wide open touchdowns. The Chiefs offense was struggling. Like I said, losing to the Lions on opening night, losing to the Broncos, losing to the Packers and the Raiders as well, just to name a few of the bad losses. 4 games that the old trio of Tyreek, Travis, and Patrick would have won by a landslide. But sadly, that era was over, and the Chiefs had to find a way to win that didn't rely on Mahomes and Kelce to score 70 points a game. This new era consisted of forming the best defense in the NFL for 2 years straight. and I don't want to hear it. Yeah, the Ravens have a really good defense, but how come when the Ravens and the Chiefs played each other in the AFC Championship, the Ravens were able to play pretty good defense on Mahomes, but the Chiefs defense locked down the Ravens outside of, I like the Ravens. And I'll say the Ravens were one bad rookie mistake away from making the Super Bowl, and I think we all know what that rookie mistake was. Zay Flowers fumbling the ball.
Here. 2nd and 8 from the 9. Jackson to Flowers. He dives. The ball came out. It's recovered by Kansas City.
At the 1 inch line, diving into the end zone, but that's neither here or there. Signing and drafting incredibly underrated players and molding them into superstars like L'Jarius Sneed, like Nick Bolton, like Trent McDuffie. These players, casuals probably don't even know who they are, but they're super key contributors to the greatest team in the NFL. The Chiefs entrusted their defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, to lead them into another championship off the backs of the defense. And that's exactly what happened. The Chiefs, as crazy as it is to say, were an incredibly defensive and run-heavy team last season, relying more on time of possession to win games instead of touchdowns. They decided that since this new team was not going to be able to score 1 million points every game, they would instead create a monster of a defense that wouldn't allow opposing teams to even score once. And then when their offense would eventually get the ball, they would just run the ball down the opponent's throats, chewing up the clock with 10-minute drive after 10-minute drive, eventually ending the game with a 17-9 or 19-9 victory. And occasionally, when everything was clicking and receivers were actually catching the ball, they were able to pull off a 41-10 victory. It was clear at points this season that the Chiefs were missing a playmaker or two to take the load off of Travis Kelce. Pause. Thankfully for them, Rashee Rice was able to step up and give Mahomes an option to make defenses respect somebody not lined up at tight end. This combination of a historically good defense and good clock management and running was able to drag the Chiefs to a second Super Bowl in a row. So, what about this season? I already said at the very top of the video, the Chiefs could go back to back to back and could go undefeated with the schedule they have. And I truly believe that. The reason I believe that is because, as we said, the Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls in a row with Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, or Kadarius Toney. At some point, 2 of those 4 receivers were starting for them within these past 2 seasons. And between you and me, none of those players, maybe Juju, are truly worthy of starting on the Chiefs. And the NFL and its owners and GMs completely messed up in free agency, allowing Marquise Brown to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you understand that the Chiefs' best wide receiver of all time, arguably, is Tyreek Hill? And Marquise Brown is a Tyreek Hill clone. A worse version, but he's a clone. And what else do the Chiefs do? Oh, well, if Marquise Brown doesn't work out, let's just draft ourselves another Tyreek clone. And they got Xavier Worthy, 32nd or 31st overall. I don't remember if they traded up. I'm going to say 32nd overall. 2 receivers alongside Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. Oh my Jesus Christ, bro. Just thinking about that while making this video makes me cringe for the Dolphins or any of your fans. Like I said, if you're a fan of any team in the AFC or just the NFL, you might as well not even watch the games because the Chiefs are going to win back-to-back. Sorry, my fault. The Chiefs are going to win back-to-back-to-back.